Et si nous prenions notre revanche sur la cybercriminalité pour ce dernier FIC Talks? L'entreprise Blackberry a apporté sa bouilloire pour vous faire une démonstration. Avec nous sur scène, Anthony Goudier et Barry Dempster vont nous rejoindre. Alors, petite précision, ce dernier FIC Talk sera effectué en anglais. Si jamais vous avez besoin de traducteurs, vous avez vos sièges avec des petits boutons. Et si vous n'avez pas de casque ou d'écouteurs, vous pouvez vous diriger vers les hôtesses juste à l'accueil.
Bonjour, hello. My name is Barry Dempster, and I run cybersecurity consultancy for Blackberry. I'm here with my colleague Anthony Goodyear, who's our head of specialist services. Today, we're going to discuss the threats to the IoT, or as we call it, the enterprise of things, and what that adds to your organization. And we're going to demo a potential attack. We'll begin with an overview of the risks presented by the enterprise of things and finish with an overview of the Blackberry solution. So the enterprise of things consists of common network devices and includes a large number of connected devices, from door access mechanisms to Wi-Fi connected fridges, and as we'll see in this presentation today, even connected kettles. This adds somewhere in the region of 10 million devices per day to the network. And it's expected that by 2020 there will be 21 billion devices connected. This is everything from the coffee maker to the tracking systems in vehicles. And this takes us from the risk of doing business, where we have our general IT business risk, our financial risk, and the risk of operating with our partners and customers, through to digital systems where we have the traditional attacks against the network, traditional attacks against the devices that you use, and with the enterprise of things and with IoT, you have a much larger landscape and a much more difficult problem to solve. Managing devices within the enterprise is hard enough as it is. When these devices are small, microcomputers, and they don't have a lot of ways to control them, and antivirus solutions and intrusion detection solutions to look after them, then it's a lot more difficult to solve the problem that you have at the endpoint of the system. So the impact that this has on the enterprise is obvious. If the average attacker stays in your network for 200 days on a desktop, a server, or a laptop, then how long are they going to be inside the network when they're inside a kettle? How will we find them in the kettle? How will we find them in the fridge? We're not managing these, we're not scanning these, we're not performing vulnerability assessments on these. So how do we even know that the attacker's hidden inside our network? And with that in mind, we will now demo an attack against an office network using a kettle as the initial entry point. So what we have here is a kettle which is controlled by a mobile application. And the way this works is you have an application on your phone, and this kettle is connected up to a secure Wi-Fi network, a properly secure Wi-Fi network, which has the right level of encryption that you would expect, the right level of password management, the right level of protection. And this is within an office network where there are other services, desktops, laptops, and so on connecting to it. And we can control this from anywhere in the world. We can start it boiling, we can stop it, and most worryingly, the kettle can detect when you're almost home. So if you're driving to the house or driving to the office, there's a vicinity, and once you enter that vicinity, the kettle can switch on, which is really convenient because then you get home, you have coffee ready to go, you have tea ready to go, but that means your kettle knows where you are, and that's really worrying for me as an attacker, as a hacker. I'm going to use that as a point to access the network, a point to get information about you, and it knows where you are. So therefore, if I can find a weakness in the system, then I know where you are as well, and I can access the network, access your information, and potentially cause further attacks. So Anthony is going to now show us the execution of this attack and how we can take this kettle as a single entry point and then get information that we need to further break into the network with some of the risks involved.
Hello, everyone. As Barry's just said, this kettle is currently connected to a secure Wi-Fi network. One of the flaws that this kettle has is that when it connects to a network, it doesn't actually validate the network to make sure it's connecting to the right one. So if you look on the screen, you'll see the area that I'm highlighting. We're currently connected to a WPA2 network named Demo1. And the kettle will allow me to create another network, which will pop up shortly, which has got the same name of Demo1, but contains no encryption whatsoever. So at this point, we can force the kettle off, force the kettle to stop using the secure network by sending a DOF packet to tell it to disconnect.
Nothing on screen, Anthony. Nothing on screen.
Oh, is it gone?
There we go.
Yep. If I put the right password in, it'll help. Okay, now we're telling the kettle to disassociate from that wireless network. At the same time, I will shut the secure wireless network down, and the kettle will reconnect to my network. So if we have a look now, we can see that we're connected to Demo1. So if I escape this. So now the kettle's on our secure network, we can start to examine it and have a look. So what we will do is we will perform a port scan against the kettle. And as you can see, the kettle has 2 ports open. One is Telnet, and the other is another service running on port 2000. In this instance, we're going to concentrate on the Telnet protocol. Gone again. Okay, so we have 2 ports open to connect to and interface with. In this instance, we're going to choose port 23, which is Telnet. So if we telnet to this device, and it is 192.168.0.10. Spell it correctly. It gives us a telnet interface. This is a password-protected interface, but unfortunately the password for this particular kettle was really easy to guess, and it is simply 6 zeros. And then once we're logged in, we have a shell on the kettle, and using some old modem-style AT commands, we can type in AT plus key, and the kettle returns the Wi-Fi password for the secure network. And we can then take that password and connect to the secure wireless network and maneuver through the network.
Okay, so there was a couple of complicated steps involved in hacking this kettle. The first was to knock it off the secure network that it's on, and then have it connect to our open network. And that's something the kettle shouldn't do. It shouldn't connect to an open network. It should only connect to the network that it's configured to be on. And then the kettle has vulnerabilities itself, which means that we can gain access to it. And once we gain access to it, the kettle has to know the password for the Wi-Fi somewhere. It's got to be in the kettle in order for it to be connected. So we now have the password for the secure network. So we can now log into the office network, we can read emails, and we can gain access to the information. Can you switch screens?
I can't. I can get someone to. Can we switch screens, please, back to the presentation?
Thank you. So what are the solutions for this? So in Blackberry, we've developed secure devices for the history of our company. It's pretty much our legacy. The back-end infrastructure devices on the far end, and how to secure them is what we've done, and what we've done well for multiple decades. So how we approach something like this is through a couple of key pieces that need to be done. First is assessment. Let's look at the kettle. Is it a vulnerability? Does it cause us any problems? What are the potential issues? And then use that to reduce the vulnerabilities that are there. Second is segmenting it. These things should never be on the Office network. They should never have access to any of the server infrastructure. That's just basic security hygiene. It's really simple stuff. But we're seeing that ignored again and again with IoT devices that need to have access to everything, need to be monitored everywhere. And that access and monitoring is the third key piece, where we detect any issues within these. Now, you can manage a Windows operating system, a Unix operating system, mobile devices with antivirus solutions and intrusion detection and so on. But for many of these small embedded devices, there's no real facility to do that. So as an organization, you have to develop that or bring it in yourself. And that's one of our key strengths, is the ability to then respond to this, right? We've managed devices as a company forever. It's what we do. The number of devices, what they look like and what's on them doesn't matter. What matters is that we follow that basic security hygiene. And then strong, well-developed incident response team that knows how to deal with these issues, knows how to deal with the customers, knows how to deal with the people that rely on your business, your partners, your customers, your employees even. You have a responsibility to them in the same way. So how do you deal with that process? Again, it's something that Blackberry has done for a long time. We have operated in pretty much every region in the world, and we've dealt with attacks against the software and services that we've created as a sort of living, breathing implementation of what we do as a company and what we develop. So the key differentiator for Blackberry is that we may have workspaces, which is our document management system. We may have the QNX operating system, which runs in vehicles, medical devices, and other embedded devices. We may have our cryptography within the Certicom products and libraries that we create, and the ad hoc alerting system, which alerts our customers to various events as they're happening and helps them look after the business. But what's really important is in the core of everything that we do is security services, security design, security engineering. It's key to what we as a business have done since the beginning. I've been in Blackberry almost a decade, and in that entire time I've been a security professional within the company, operating on the Blackberry products, and over the past few years, increasingly more so on our customers' products. So we'd like to invite you to come see us and say hello at booth C13, have a closer look at the kettle, talk to us about the security issues that you find in IoT, and ask a bit more about our services. Thank you very much for your time. Merci.
Thank you very much, Anthony Goody and Barry Dempster.